we should have or should not have. But on minimum wage, if we had capitalism, supply and demand is a rudimentary, fundamental part of capitalism, in my estimation, then minimum wage could have gone from $1 an hour, let's say when they came out, okay, $1, you have the X amount of standard of living, and that was one spouse could stay home, take care of the family, and you could comfortably pay your mortgage and your bills, all the bills, and have disposable income left over. Today it could be 50 cents an hour because the cost of living should have gone down. Again, why? Because we find easier and easier, we, civilized society purportedly, easier and easier methods to produce not only all the things we need, but the things we want. That's the explanation why minimum wage could be 50 cents an hour. Because the Labor Department could have come out and said, hey, we're lowering minimum wage because money keeps going up in worth relative to all these items, these essential human needs. They use what's called a market basket of goods in calculating the consumer price index. So the Federal Labor Department's completely without excuse. Okay, these are the people with the PhDs, the master's degrees, and all the acronyms behind their names that head up these agencies like that. Supposed to look after the interests of the federal minimum wage workers. They're supposed to try to keep the country cohesive, and they've deliberately done the opposite. They're in the pockets, they're in the lap of the Federal Reserve Bank, the money printing class, okay, the most powerful entity on earth, in my opinion, America. We have the world's the world's reserve currency, okay, and so the Congress and Senate are deferent to these people. Whatever you say, master, right? Just so we can give ourselves raises. Supposed to be working for you and me, we the people. Just Benedict Arnold up one side, down the other, stabbing us in the back, cutting our throats, defying the best interest of the people. They know this stuff. They're highly educated people, most of them. So don't tell me they're not doing this deliberately. They are. They're all in cahoots. They're colluding against the best interest of the American people, and it's as evident as the day is long, my friends. That's the way it is. That's the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So you want to know the monsters we're up against? The Luciferians, the Satanists, the devils, the diabolical clowns? That's who I'm talking about. It's all them. Manipulating us, keeping us enslaved, and increasing the slavery and calling it good. Hey, the value of your house went up. Mainstream people won't say, well, one man's value might be another man's burden. How can you call it good? What's going to happen to this guy's rent as housing prices soar, and you call it the value and it's all good because the property values are going up? God almighty, we're in trouble. We're down this demonic rabbit hole toward hell a long freaking way, my friends. And only God can help extricate us out of this mess. Turn to God. It's the only hope we have, because none of us can do it on our own. We've got to unite and defy these maniacs. We have an obligation to our children, to our grandchildren, to future generations, and above all to God, to our conscience, to our integrity, to our honor. That's it, man. Be who you have to be, and let God tell you who you need to be. All right, friends, I'm on to some recent current events and other talking points I wanted to get into. Here's an addendum. Last week I was talking about how, if you offered any other creature on the face of the earth, any other creature, $1 billion or a bite of its least favorite food when it was hungry, it would take the bite of the least favorite food. We would all agree. But every single human, right, we know would take the $1 billion. But the same holds true whether it was a quarter, right? Because a human says, well, for a quarter I could buy several of my favorite bites of food, probably, or $1, whatever. You understand? So the money figure doesn't matter. It's just the point is that we know the value of money. So we're all money lovers in that sense. We know what it does for us. It satisfies our bellies. It puts a roof over our heads. It satisfies our energy needs. It gives us creature comfort and all the niceties and crap that we all desire, right? It's everything, man. It's freedom. It's security to us. And God understands it. And we should all be very grateful that God understands how hard it is to be human. Very, very, very grateful. And that He wants to comfort us and encourage us. He wants us to be of sound mind. He wants us to be right in the sight of God and man. as best as we possibly can. His will for us is not a secret. His will for us is only good. Okay, that's only reasonable to presume. It's just like any parent, there's no possible ulterior motive. Your parents are the last ones that are ever going to be your enemy. They're always going to want you safe, secure, free, and prosperous, right? We all know that's true. And God is no less than the crappiest parent. At least give God that, okay? Please. You know, I don't know why. I watched this TMZ Live with Harvey Levin and Charles. And, I don't know why. What's his resistance of getting a guy like, I hate to say he's racist, but I mean, Armstrong Williams, he's a dark black man. And I admire greatly. I adore the guy. And, he says he's never been discriminated against in his whole life. And, I don't know why Harvey and Charles don't get him on to talk about his take on this race business. But I challenge them. Let a little birdie get that message to Harvey and Charles. Come on. Let's heal the divide. Let's not create divide. I mean, America's not a racist nation. Hell, we hired a black man to run the country, the president. We practically worship Martin Luther King Jr. Don't give me racist nation. That's a load of you-know-what, man. I'm not saying there's not a few racist nut jobs out there. Of course there are. And if you go anywhere in the world, you're going to find racist nut jobs. Don't give them any heed. Okay? And if they're in positions of authority, they shouldn't be there. I agree. I talk about, Biden. I don't want him to give Russia a hard time and start picking a fight with them, instigating something with Russia, making trouble for these people. And now we hear as soon as Biden is president-elect, now all this Russia crap. Oh, Russia's hacking us. What a load. It's been spy versus spy for God knows how long. Everybody knows you got Russian spies in America. They've known that for freaking decades. And of course they're going to be on the internet. What are they telling you? You didn't know. Duh. Hey, you got to get smarter spies, I guess, and that's what they do. Russia knows you got American spies. This stuff's been. We know the spy planes get busted and all this crap. Come on, don't give me this crap. People get smarter. At least thank God for law enforcement, for the military. They don't want to fight with the Russians. Okay, they don't see them as a threat. They're a more civilized society, as far as I'm concerned, at this point in history than we are. Okay, it's a more democratic society. They want Putin in for the rest of his life, then let them have what they want. Okay, but hey, listen, I'm not approving of everything any leader does. Every man's going to stand on his own before God someday and give an account for why he did or failed to do the things he did. Okay, so we're all on our own at the end of the day. It says to work out our salvation with fear and trembling. And that's as true for Putin or Biden or Trump or any other leader out there, okay? And I have all the faith in the world that Russia can handle herself, too. From what I know about what they've got, the scientists, the caliber of the scientists they got, yeah, I don't think there's too many smarter people on the face of the earth. Okay, I'm saying that for the Americans, too. Thank God that the people in the military, most of them are decent, intelligent people. And they're done, man. A lot of those guys done with these dubious wars, man. You better be convicted. We get involved in another war, it better be a Hitler-esque figure, man. We're done with this crap and these troops coming home taking their lives. We're done with this crap, man. We're over it. In the 60s, there was a slogan going about that, what if they had a war and nobody came? But as far as Biden goes, I need a little peace about it. I can't stand to hear him on TV. I'll shut off the news. I'll turn the channel. I don't want to hear nothing that I already know. Look, he's got a lot of strikes against him for being complicit in that bailout of '08. Obama was very instrumental. I never heard of Biden speak out against that bailout. And we know that Biden was a patsy for Obama and just a yes man. And please, my friends, understand that about yes men. We've all got yes men, right? We know what that's like, right? Sycophantic types. We've all experienced that. And we can all be that, okay? But we've got to make sure we don't confuse yes men in our lives, or when we witness it, we see what's going on. We know there's yes men out there. They're not your friend. Okay, they're not. They're yes men, distinctly different from a friend. Yet a lot of them are up close and personal in everybody's lives. We know this stuff goes on, and we see it. We can observe it empirically. So just understand that. But I was going to say that I hope that, I had a pleasant dream about Obama, and it did give me a semblance of peace in my life now. Dreams are powerful. And I hope that God gives me one about Biden, because I actually used to like him in the 80s, but, I listened to him and it sounded pretty good rhetoric, but because he's a big-time career politician. He's part of this political priest class that guys like Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump are not. This is why they had to go, okay? Whatever it took, rigging elections, it didn't matter. Okay, but they had to go because they were the set the captives free kind of president. They weren't part of the political priest class. But Biden, Obama clearly were. New World Order bunch. We got to starve the people out, smoke them out. Austerity. They're destroying the planet. These teeming hordes we don't need anymore. Georgia Guidestones all the way, baby. We got to get rid of over 7 billion people. End of story. Obama in Africa telling them, look, don't expect to drive cars or have air conditioning. No. The earth would boil over. So we're trying to starve you out. We want to create austerity, poverty. We want to make your life harder and more burdensome and difficult to rub two nickels together. That's where you want to, is that the direction we want to take America? We want to be like China, authoritarian, totalitarian. And Obama's come out and said he doesn't support free speech all the way. I mean, it was his ilk that got my dad's book censored. My dad was a Marine. He knew stuff they probably shouldn't have been talking about, but he was into being a good American and free speech and all that. And so we're not ridiculing our government, ridiculing the FBI director who was cross-dressing or some damn thing, J. Edgar Hoover, whatever. But that's enough right there, probably rubbing the FBI director the wrong way. Probably got my dad's book censored. But listen, Biden is part of the political priest class. It's not a Democrat-Republican thing. Look how I vaunt and extol. I practically worship JFK. What was he? A Democrat. And I do the same for Martin Luther King. I don't even know. He barely had a political affiliation. He was, who knows even? I'm not even sure. Martin Luther King Jr. And then look at Abraham Lincoln. He's a Republican I adore. So political affiliation has nothing to do with it. It's all about money, my friends. It's a juggernaut of pure evil genius. These people act like they're at each other's throats, the Democrats and Republicans. It's all theater. If they're deluded, that's why they're so good at convincing you that it's real. But it's world wrestling like that, but it's world political entertainment. You understand? That's all it is. It's theater, because on the big issues, they're in lockstep. They're on the same page, man. The bailout of '08, Republicans and Democrats did this to us, debased our money greatly relative to housing costs, which caused a chain reaction on everything else. Inevitable. It's inevitable. If you just want to stay even, Steven, it's inevitable. Everybody's got to go, oh my God, I got to scramble. I need more money. The nut keeps getting harder to crack. The bar keeps getting harder to reach. It's getting harder and harder to keep up with the Joneses. So this chain reaction, cost of living inflation, which translates to debasement of currency, your money is worth less. Deworthment of your money. The dilution of your money. The watering down of your money through artificially raising your cost of living. Not based on capitalism, but based on anti-capitalism. Do you understand? They're not playing the game fair. Otherwise, labor would be the first ones to prosper out there. The people on the ground that are spilling the blood, sweat, and tears. That's who would be first in line for prosperity if we had true capitalism. I talk about tithing. It's very important that poor people especially understand this, okay? Because rather than a blessing, you'll get a cursing if you don't tithe. So the poorest of people should do their best. I've seen the homeless being generous and sharing with each other, okay? So we're all without excuse. I mean, if this is what God says, just to break that spirit of cheapskate, not like God needs our money, Remember, it's only temporary. We're going to need this crap. Because in the world of tomorrow, man, if you make it to that better world, that paradise he talks about right here on earth with an imperishable body, okay, you got to hate money. You got to be so glad that God is a good God and he's no money. Nobody there that wants to get an advantage over you or take advantage of you. I'm going to separate you. Like the weeds, a landscaper separates from the cultivars, the sheep from the goats. It's going to be separating the wicked from the righteous. And you're wicked if you love money more than you love God. If you love money more than you love human beings, you know where you're going. You get to hang out with all the meanest scumbag bullies there are.